Welcome to a live edition of Roll the Level. My name is Damien.
And I'm Matt.
And we are here actually in the same geographic location, and we're actually on video.
Which is crazy.
Instead of just audio,
Right.
because in order to do that, we would have had to have traveled several hundreds of miles or kilometers.
True.
It's
only kilometers till you get to the border.
It's only kilometers once you get to the borders. Then we're in America, and then it's miles.
That's right. I'm America.
So we've actually been able to spend the last couple of days together, and which has been great. It's the first time that this has happened in
a couple years
now.
Yep.
So there is something to be said about being able to be in the same geographic location together.
Man, truth. So it's good.
We've spent a lot of time doing some gaming and of course introducing Matt to a lot of the local fare here.
It's just been a lot of fun. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's been very good. He's eaten a lot of cheese.
I have. It's been delicious. The cheese in Wisconsin is just amazing.
So good.
And I know that you guys are all about the cheese, but it really is that good. Like,
it's that good.
It's not just fanfare.
It's not just a thing that we talk about. Yeah. It's not just a slogan. It is that good.
I agree. So, I can attest now to that fact. So
and cheese curds. Your impression of cheese curds.
Yeah, I mean, I've had cheese curds before.
Okay.
These ones are extra
for those who
squeaky.
don't know what cheese curds are. Can you explain the?
Yeah. Just take like normal cheese and add awesome. Basically,
that's pretty much a cheese curd.
That's a cheese curd. No, but I essentially like the cheese before it's blocked. They basically take these curds and cut them up, and they're just amazing. It's like the cheese before it's cheese.
It is cheese in beta.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, when we were at Famous Dave's, I got to try. Was it deep fried? It must have been deep fried.
Yes, they are batter dipped and deep fried. The only way we do things in America. The only way we do things in America here.
Yeah, absolutely.
If something is awesome, to make it more awesome, you batter dip it and deep fry it.
Absolutely. And for the record, that was absolutely delicious with the dill dip too. Going with it, it was really good.
So good. I promise this isn't like product placement or anything like that, but like eat it now.
Exactly right.
But no, we've had a great time being together, and I think one of the things that has been so interesting. Yeah. And we had this conversation throughout the week, and we got to you got to meet a lot of people that are kind of in my inner circle here. Yep. And you've heard stories about our friends, and we've shared some of the memories and the moments and stuff like that. But now you're actually putting faces and voices to those names. What's that been like for you in these last couple of days?
It's been good. I mean, it's this thing is, again, I know you and I know you really well, and I know these stories of these people, but to be able to put faces and to actually have a relationship with them, it's deepened, I think, my understanding of where you're at and what's going on, and it's awesome. It's a really cool thing, but it really has just given a lot more weight to when you say, hey, I'm talking about this person, like, I know them. I had this conversation with them. I had this relationship with them. And so there's a depth there that wasn't before, which is really cool.
This is true. Yeah.
So it's been really good for sure.
Yeah. There is something that's really interesting when you start to make those connections personally with people, because otherwise they're just a story then.
Yeah,
right?
It's true. It's true.
So it'd be like if I, and really, it's been 4 years since we've been here in Wisconsin. And so you've heard over the last 4 years about people and events and stuff like that. And so to be able to actually make those connections, and there are some people that you have met before and been able to reconnect with them as well, which is always awesome too.
Good. That was a lot of fun. Sunday.
But there is something that's really interesting about that, about the idea of like when you meet a character that's a part of somebody else's story. Yeah. And then you get to be able to kind of step into the story like partway through, and then you have all of the backstory, you have the lore, if you will. You've heard my lore. Yeah. But you have some of the backstory, and you can kind of jump into that and be a part of those relationships. And there's almost something that you kind of get to skip the line a little bit with that, because I've talked about you, and I've shared about them, and so for you, again, skipping the line a little bit relationally, you have some pre-existing notions, they have some pre-existing notions, but I think the thing that's really interesting about this is as a follower of Jesus, that there is kind of that I almost want to say it's like an impugned love that's there, like, you know, that it's almost like it's like a preload or it's pre-existing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
because I
we're
mean,
pre-ordered. So,
yeah, you're pre-ordered. You're in the beta there,
yeah,
so you're good. So, but no, it is really kind of interesting because you're already part of something similar, and you're part of the same family. You may be running with a different tribe at the moment, but still same family.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, and there's this commonality in the mission too, which I absolutely love, you know, within the body of Christ. And I was just thinking about StarCraft 2 is a great example. You know, like you build your base, I build my base, but at the end of the day, we're on a mission together to take out the enemy base, right? And there's this
you
synergy.
must construct additional pylons.
Right. It's true. It's true. And for me, it's always spawned more overlords, so it's good. But there's this cool, amazing unity that comes when people come together who have a common goal and are one in heart. And, you know, and I saw that even this week as I'm meeting these people for the first time, but there wasn't like that awkwardness of meeting them for two reasons. I mean, there was kind of two levels of this. One is that I know these are people that care about you based on what you've told me. And so I automatically make assumptions about them, you know, because you're my best friend. And so I see these people go, okay, they pour value into you. They pour love into you. Therefore, they've got to be at least decent people. You know, come to find out they're amazing people, but they're absolutely awesome
are amazing people. Yeah.
But they're, you know, so on that level, there's this like, yeah, this is my friend and he is your friend. Therefore, we can be friends. You know, so but on a deeper level, these are Christ followers who absolutely love God, and there's this commonality there, this unity in the body that's beautiful. Because I'm coming from like 1 billion miles away, you know, up in Canada, and
what's really, really funny is if you were to look at it just on a geographic plane, you're actually further south.
Yeah, I'm coming up.
You're coming up to see me.
It's true.
In the United States.
Yeah, in your snowy land.
In our snowy land.
Which is funny.
Which fortunately is not snowy right now.
This is true, which is nice. Because if I had to come to this much snow, I don't know, buddy, it would be a stretch. I'd have to actually bust out a dog sled.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's kind of your racial passive, right?
It's true. You know, it's so true. Plus 15 to dog sledding.
Plus 15 to dog sledding.
It's good. But yeah, so as I was saying, you know, there is this beauty in the body, and that, you know, we may be of different culture, we may be a different background, but when we come together, there is a unity that comes because we're on mission together, and we all love Christ, and it's through Christ that we go. And so there's this camaraderie in the body, you know, like I mean, we've talked about this so many times. You know, the Christian walk is not designed to be done alone. It is not a solo journey. You know, this is not a single player RPG.
No. Like I've tried to solo it before, and it's just like wipe after wipe,
right?
And corpse hop.
Yeah, and I mean, we did that once. It wasn't worth it.
No.
Eastern Plague Lands.
Yes, the BC days. Right. Realizing that there's actually a portal between Qualthalos and Undercity.
Yeah, which I wish there was a big frickin' sign that said that.
Right.
So I didn't corpse hop through the Eastern and Western Plague Lands. But anyway, that's an aside.
So just kind of on that note of you know, kind of meeting new characters and new people and stuff like that. Has there ever been a game that, like, there's been a character that's come into the story of the game that, you know, maybe it's a series of games and you see like the comeback of that character. Has there ever been like a moment like that in gaming for you? Because it's kind of very similar, like in this situation where you're meeting people that you have a pre-existing knowledge of, based on story, and based on relationship. What about on the gaming end? Have there been people that have been like that for you?
Oh man, that is a huge question. So you're talking specifically like this idea of, you know, of characters that have kind of come in and out of your story. Is that what you mean?
Well, like in gaming. Let's start with gaming, and then we'll talk people.
Excuse me. I mean, there are some great. I'm just trying to think through. There's so many games, man. Like, I mean, there's so many stories that we've experienced. Actually, a great example of this would be SWTOR is actually a really good example of that. Yep. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the game because I feel like it's just WoW in space with lightsabers. But one thing I will say is,
lots and lots of cutscenes,
right? and that's the thing. But one thing that is really cool, like I've got a couple characters a little bit higher. I'm like mid range right now, like mid 30s or something. But one thing I really appreciate about that game is that they do take some of these characters and they weave them in and out of your story. And so, you'll hear parts about what's going on and then you meet up with them and engage in that story with them and go forward. And that's really cool. WoW was great for that too. You like Thrall is forever just popping up and killing people for you, right? Yeah. And I love that. Like those are some of those elements of the storytelling I really enjoy. Is where like they're not necessarily the main part of your story, but when they weave in, it's like, oh man, he's here. We're gonna do something crazy.
Yeah,
that's
the moment.
Yeah, that's the moment, right? And so I think of games like that do that really well. One character I absolutely love. It kind of weaves into your story is Sergeant Johnson from Halo, right? Just this incredible, like he just comes out of nowhere. Right?
Oh, you greenhorns want to see Covenant? Right? This is your lucky day.
No. Best line ever in the series for his character was Halo 2 when he drops the tank. And Cortana's like, oh, you give me a tank. He never gives me anything nice. And he's like, oh, I know what the ladies like. Best line in the entire series. Yeah. It was just amazing. But I'll tell you though, like it was cool because this is one of those characters that you just get glimpses of throughout your story. But, spoiler, if you haven't played anything Halo, when he dies in the end of the second game, it wrecks you. I know, right? Like there's still this mourning.
Take a moment. Take a moment.
Right? But it's because they've invested in your story in some way, shape, or form, and it may not have been for a long time, but it had impact. Yeah. And I think in the Christian walk that it can be the case. Not every relationship is for all of now.
Right.
Sometimes you only meet for short periods of time.
It's funny that you say that because there have been people over the course of my life that. That they have kind of weaved in and out, and some of those, especially college, I think, like high school and college, I think of people like that I have no less care for them now than I did back then. I have a lot of very fond memories, and nostalgia is one of those like really funny things where like it either makes things like look so much better than they were or so much worse than they were.
Truth.
But in these situations, like it was definitely like I look with fondness back on some of those relationships, and every once in a while I get to reconnect. There are few of those relationships that have carried the long term. I think actually our relationship is probably one of the longest running for me.
Well, me too. I would agree with that. Yeah.
I do have another friend from high school that he and I, like every couple of weeks we'll kind of touch base, and Dan is a fantastic guy and really, really neat guy. Yeah. I wish that I could get him a little more into gaming, but that's an entirely other different aside.
That's fair.
But anyway, like for me, like character wise, like one of those moments where like the characters kind of weave in and out. The Chrono Trigger, fantastic game.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, I should say, several years ago now.
We're getting old.
Several years ago now. I keep forgetting that whole grizzled ancients part of this. But in the like 2000s, I believe it was late 90s, early 2000s, they released Chrono Cross, which was supposed to be a sequel to Chrono Trigger. I don't know that I would go that far.
That's fair.
There are some connecting points between the two series.
Did they connect like Final Fantasy connects? Because I never played the second one, so I don't know.
Yeah, I played through Chrono Cross a couple of times, and there are allusions to the original game and stuff like that. What's really kind of hibbly wibbly in this is that that where Chrono Trigger deals with time travel, Chrono Cross deals more with dimensional travel. So so it's more like parallel world versus time travel. You still have those things that happen in one world do impact the other.
Yeah, which I mean, realistically, if you take that theory, because there's a few different theories in time travel, and one of them would actually generate parallel dimensions.
Right,
so that makes sense.
So what's really interesting about that is there are some characters that having played through Chrono Trigger so many times that I know the characters and I know the stories and the world and stuff like that. And there are these like little glimpses of things in some of the characters that you run into, and they're like 80 some playable characters in that game. Nice. And so when you run into a character, there's one in particular that remind, or that the history they don't explicitly say, but his name is Glenn, and he has green hair, and he can wield the mass immune.
Oh, there you go.
It's Frog.
I was gonna say, it can only be Frog at that point.
So I'm expecting to hear the like the da 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 da. Right. There are things like that are those moments where it's like, oh my word, I can't believe they brought that person in. It's so good. But I think that bringing it back to the Christian experience too, and part of the hope that we have in Jesus is that. For the believer, the hope is that this isn't it. It's true. We have a limited scope of time on this earth, and even like every day is such a gift. I mean, we talked about this a lot this week about just the idea of brevity and that even the breath that's in our lungs, we're kind of on borrowed time.
Truth.
We're on borrowed breath.
Truth.
And so while there is. And I don't mean to get like super emo or morbid or anything like that, but while there is that reality to life, the other part of it and the other hope is that this isn't it, that there is a world, if you will, after this one, one that is unending. And the beauty is that in these relationships that like weave in and out of our stories and there's different intersection between characters in your story and my story and they've given us perspective of each other. There is also something that is really exciting about the thought that this isn't the last time that we're going to hang out.
Yes, I would agree
like
with
even if like. Something catastrophic were to happen today, this is not the end.
It's true.
That one day that each of us, as we follow Jesus, we stick close to him, we're going to hear like the greatest words ever, which are like, well done.
Yeah.
You ran the race of life well done. Yeah. And then there's that hope of spending time together in eternity and is without end.
It's true. And it's awesome.
And it's awesome.
It is.
And there's so many people that I'm looking forward to spending that time with and sharing those stories of, you remember that time we rode a shopping cart down the hill, and not that we advise that.
Well, yes, we do not encourage the riding of shopping carts down any hills.
No.
I would recommend, though, if you choose to do it, to wear a long sleeve jacket and a helmet.
Yes, preferably some leathers.
Yes.
Something that can withstand like road rash.
It's true.
Maybe safety rated.
Because that's a thing.
That is a thing. That was a thing.
Anyway, it's good.
Yes. just throwing that out there. Disclaimer here. Don't do that.
It's true.
It's true.
Anyway, I think you're absolutely right. And again, one of the most exciting parts about even being here this week and connecting with these people is there isn't like, oh man, I'm never going to see them again. I think that was one of the things I told you after meeting them and saying goodbye, because I wasn't going to see them again here, was just, I'm excited because this isn't it. Like there's a hope.
Yeah.
Right. That goes past death, that goes past the current stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the hope we need to cling to. I mean, Romans 5, I think, talks about that idea. You're going to suffer. I mean, that's
absolutely.
Yep. But through that suffering, if you abide in Christ, there'll be this perseverance, which brings character, which gives us hope.
Yeah.
Hope in this future glory, and that hope doesn't fail us. And I'm learning all of that is just so crucial to getting through any day.
Oh yeah.
And the other reality is that we need each other to get through all of these days. We cannot do this thing by ourselves. Experience really is better in a group.
Oh yeah. Like it's not just a catchphrase that we use for roll the load.
It's true. It is real life. And we need each other, and it's been this beautiful experience being here and meeting the characters in your life that are a part of your life and who kind of complete your group, so to speak, here. Yeah. And I'm excited because there will be a day. I did. I pugged. It was good. I didn't even have to go to the LFG. It was wonderful. Right. But there's a beauty in that one day we're going to stand before God together. and there's this unity that's going to be in that's just incredible, and we all get to hang out.
And all of the awesome things that happened this week kind of pale in comparison to that.
It's true. Even like the many hours of Terraria we put in this week,
so good.
Gonna pale in comparison.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Which was good.
It was really good. Oh, it was incredibly good. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Which we'll see where that goes in the future. We might be doing some stuff with that, but we'll keep it posted.
Yes.
As we figure out.
No promises on this, but there might be some playthrough videos.
Yeah, I was gonna say there might be some streaming.
Might be some streaming
if we don't break it first.
Well, Terraria really is going to be the test to see if we can break it.
Yeah, I think
and that's
so.
really been our track record. Is like, let's see how far we can push
before it breaks.
Yeah,
absolutely. So we're gonna try. I think we're gonna try that anyway. Still get some details to figure out, but for you guys that are watching / listening, keep an eye on our feeds, because I think we are gonna have some live stream coming up pretty soon, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Terraria. And you're gonna,
it's not going to be for a couple of weeks though.
No,
because
it's true.
You, sir, need a vacation.
I apparently that's what I've been told. So I am. I'm taking a vacation with my wife, which would be wonderful.
Yeah. So for you guys out there, stick with us. We're going to take a break for a couple of weeks because this dude needs some rest. This week has been good for him and for me and for rest and stuff like that. But but yeah. So we would ask you, actually, the listener, the watcher, pray for us in these next couple of weeks, because just as much as we're part of each other's story, and hopefully we get to be a part of yours as well, that it's not just us helping each other and helping you, but really you help us too. I think I shared the story in the last podcast about running with
Russell,
running with Russell and him coaching me along and stuff like that. Like, your encouragement to us is just as needed to help us roll the level just as much as our contribution through this and our relationships with you as well are the things that are necessary. That's the beauty of being a part of the kingdom. Like,
beauty of the body.
Yeah. It's scalable.
Right? It's scalable content.
It's definitely scalable content that there is no, like, we're not like higher level or anything like that. Yeah, we might have had some different experiences, but
broken a few more things.
Got a couple of warthogs lodged in places they never should have been.
Good times.
But yeah, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for taking the time to watch and to listen.
Yep.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks here on Roll the Level.
Cool. I think we're there.
Now let's just make sure the audio works.